Hello and welcome back to some more Sky Children of the Light. I don't think I have really ever opened with a hello, but hello. So today, I believe, is the first day of the Vincent van Gogh season, the new season that is going on right now in the summer of 2026 for anyone watching this in the future. So I'm very curious about it. This is the second season pass that I have gotten with the game. I skipped the last one because I was busy with a lot of stuff in real life and just like work, and the season itself did not interest me. So the spring of 2026, I pretty much didn't play any Sky, as I've reiterated a few times in the past previous parts, but just like this is where I'm just like, okay, new season, Van Gogh. I like Van Gogh a lot. I've studied his works quite a bit. I've seen them in real life at some of the museums and institutes I'm a part of. And I still find it really weird that they decided to put him in the game. It's just really weird, but sure. Also, from last time, if you watched the last part, we had a lot of weird shenanigans, a lot of weird glitchy shenanigans with like the 7th anniversary stuff that's going on in the game, where if you go into the theater room and come back out, then it like loads in a different 7th anniversary kind of version of this Avery Village, but like there's also two characters here, one of them, both of them you can like purchase stuff from, and I used my tickets to purchase a camera, and I never got that camera, and I still haven't gotten that camera, so I'm just gonna assume it glitched out and didn't give me the item, which is the first time that has ever... Last time we played Sky, this place was a glitchy mess, and it was really the first time I've ever really seen that. They had, like, the Oreo birthday thing going on, which was kind of funny. But, yeah, that was really weird. To me, it's kind of unfortunate. I just did not unlock it, even though I spent the tickets on it. I'm not sure. Ooh, there's a bunch of Van Gogh paintings you can unlock. That's cool. I don't use the items really, but that's pretty neat. But yeah, like, the laptop is still here. I just didn't get the camera. I don't know why, because I used the tickets on it. That's on footage. I'm not going to contact, like, that game company's support or anything for that, because that should not be an issue to begin with. But it's just one of those annoying things where it's like, yeah, if I don't get it, fine, but just like, I hope that doesn't happen again in the future. If that happens with anything in this season pass that I paid for, because I paid the $10 for this one, I would contact that game company about that, because I'm like, hey, I paid money for the season pass and I unlocked some stuff and I kind of want it because I paid for it. But, yes, so this is not the free version of the season pass we're going to be experiencing. I did buy the pass so we can get, well, so I can get some candles faster. I already have 31 candles because there's the 30 that the pass gives you and then the 1 daily. And then there's also apparently daily candles for it in the prairie right now. I believe today is the first day. It was supposed to start on the 17th, and this is July 17th. But I saw a few Instagram posts of them, like, promoting this coming out, like, around now, and there were a ton of characters in some of these maps. So I'm assuming that maybe some, like, Sky... It wasn't even that game company themselves, it was, like, other Sky, like, creators and such on Instagram. So I'm assuming some Nepo babies for that game company got some press access to the Van Gogh stuff early, is how that works. In any case, we're going to be doing that today. We're going to check it out. We are going to do the daily candles in the prairie, obviously. And if we're running pretty short on, like, things to do with it, that's the thing. This is new. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know how much there is to it. If there's plenty of time to do other stuff, because I'm going to try to go for around 2 hours today or so, 2.5 hours, 2 hours. Because I have a few other things I need to get to. I just got back from the post office and mailed stuff. The smoke outside is killing my begonias, and I don't like it because I planted those begonias a few months ago, and they were very lovely, and now they are dying. And it's a mixture of just how hot it is out and the smoke, I'm pretty sure, because they're very sensitive plants. They're very tubular. Anyway. Is there anything else before we get started? I don't think so. I don't have too much of a preamble today. Just, hey, we got this new stuff to do in Sky. We're going to see how it is. Oh, if we have plenty of extra time, I have the book next to me. We're going to try to do some more stuff with the art book. To see, like, because I don't believe we've seen the valleys. We might have seen the valleys. I don't remember. I know we haven't seen the wasteland because the spot for the wasteland that we could find for the book was really ridiculously far away. So we'll try that when we get there. But yeah. So let's see what this is. Is this just going to be like floating here for the whole season for the next like 2.5 months? Sure. I was last in the Golden Wasteland. So the entrance to it is in the weird new hallway of DLC areas. They got rid of that. If you didn't watch the last part, they got rid of... Ooh, it's in the middle. They got rid of that intersecting hallway between the vault and the cinema. That giant room with all the DLC, like, doorways. They got rid of that. And they've replaced it with this. So if, like, you go to that room in the vault, you're just going to be sent into here as well. But this also now just has a dedicated doorway from Avery. It's really weird because it's just like the blank black void. It's like the Red Letter Media black void of nothingness for their, like, serious talk videos. Alright, so Dear Van Gogh. This is the new season, so let's take a look at it. Certain story elements contain sensitive themes or depictions of difficult emotional experiences. Player discretion is advised. Man, have you read some of the things people have written in some of the random nodes that you find around in this game? The players of this game write down a lot of weird, dark stuff. So, thematically in that concept, this is a very appropriate kind of DLC season pass story beat choice. My character is also wearing the new Van Gogh medallion for the season pass, which we can't really see when I have my wings on, but it looks like we're not going to be wearing our wings too much for this. Oh, we get our wings back. What is this? There is no content. It might not be for sale yet or no longer on sale. You've collected all available items this spear offers. Please thank you for your generosity. Oh, these are still pay-for items. That's kind of cringe. Okay. Starry Night's Visage, Starry Night's Kiss, Starry Night's Mantle. It's like, it's fine. It's cool stuff, but it just sucks. There are a lot of people who want to dock candles. Oh, I see. If we go near these, we get our wings back for some reason. Anyway. Dutch memory? Are the... Oh, they're just like mannequins. That's an interesting choice. It's kind of creepy, though, to see them, like, move when they just look like they're very static. Okay, so these are the quote-unquote guardians for this season pass. These are the interactable story ones. So we get an emoticon. Puzzle. It's kind of like a puzzled emote. What is this? Deep in thought. It's kind of more like a Yeah, it's more like a disappointed emote. Happy? Or cheerful? Excited? Drawing or painting? And then they have a pacing. They have a pacing emote now. Oh, that's funny. That's funny for me because I actually pace a lot. Okay, let's take a look at these. So that's like seeing a revelation from God kind of pose. Yeah, you even pray at the end. Okay, yeah, seeing a revelation of God. Okay, yeah, drawing. Just drawing in general. Trying to see, like, can I make out what it is we're drawing here? It's not like anything's actually being drawn, but... No, it's just kind of scribbles. I have two thoughts about this one. One, it's pacing, but two, they animated the upper torso to like look around in very specific ways. This reminds me much more of two things. It reminds me of someone who walks through a museum trying to pretend like they're looking at art instead of actually just stopping, standing, and looking at the art for like 10-15 minutes or so. Like people who actually appreciate art tend to do. This is like a Ferris Bueller kind of thing where, oh yeah, I appreciate art, and you pretend to walk through a museum looking at the art, but like also trying to move fastly through the museum because you need to be somewhere else for the day or something. That's kind of what this reminds me of. But it also reminds me of someone who... It reminds me more so because I am in gardens and nature preserves a lot, and I'm a member of many of them. And I am always kind of doing stuff like this, but with a camera and a little bit faster because I'm looking for things. This reminds me of a lot of the older people, the elderly, the olds, that I see who are just there to be out in nature and not really do a whole lot, but just exist. This walk and like looking around animation reminds me of that physical movement that they do very accurately. This is very much what they do until they make eye contact with you, and then they want to talk with you, which happens a lot as well. That's a good one. Yeah, these are all good emotes. I think the weirdest one out of any of these, I think the weirdest one is this one, just because I don't have context for it, and it overtly seems rather religious, which is there's overt religious aspect, like, not aspects, but just like artistic choices, quote unquote, for this game, and thematically there's a lot of religious stuff, but there's nothing super, super overt, in my opinion. Aside from, like the death rebirth cycle and stuff like that. The main premise of the game. I'm all hyper. I'm excited to be doing this new thing, so if I say gibberish, I am sorry. I'm just like, I have 1,000 thoughts flying through my head 1,000,000 miles a minute, man. Your brain is an electric engine that is funded by your blood system. And your metabolism and everything else. It's a bunch of chemicals. Your person is a bunch of chemicals banging around inside your skull. Alright, anyway, so we have those, and then we have like a main story plot type thing. It doesn't seem like at the moment, it doesn't seem like these characters have, like, main plot relevancy. They just have unlockable trees for the candles. What do you do? Who are you? Who are you? You're nobody. If this person starts texting or typing, we're gonna be very careful about it. I'm also wary if they're like a new player or not, because like their character model looks like a base model and they're texting. What are they texting? Hi. How do we text back? I forget how to. I'm willing to amuse this for a moment. This thing's like, I don't really text in this game. I forgot there's like a whole chat log that you just can't really see. They must be very confused the same way I'm confused about, like, how do I... Oh, it's the center pad on the... I never do this. I've done this only a couple times, and it's been months. So it's just like, how do I text in this game? I'll give him 5 seconds before I start to leave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, dude. I'm gonna take one more sip of coffee and then I'm out. I have to go. Alright, let's see what this is about. It's also going to be weird for me to play this because I'm going to be going back to the Art Institute in Chicago for a period and in a few weeks. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna look at his paintings and be like, man, I have that in Sky. just something like that. Just like, oh, that, I don't know. It's just like a weird correlation of like famous art in this video game. I don't know. Dear Theo, I am already looking forward to Christmas. Is that it? That was one of his notes to his brother. If I recall right, Theo's his brother, like Theo Van Gogh. He financially supported Van for a while. Well, Vincent, just calling him Van. That was weird. Let me double check on my Van Gogh lore. He was the younger brother of Van Gogh. Yeah. He supported his so I was right. I was like, Theo's his brother, right? The one who was financially supporting him while Vincent was making his art and getting worse, right? And yeah. Like, that's the thing. Theo saved a ton of his brother's letters. That's why we know so much about Van Gogh's personality and such for the most part. Is because Theo kept his brother's letters. 2 years ago, we took that evening walk in the snow. Do you still remember? When we saw the moon rising above Merenhof. Yeah, because Van Gogh spent some time in... He spent a period of time in Germany, and then went back to Britain, if I recall right. Or was it back to France? I forget. It's been a few years since I've read up on this stuff. It's like, I know the generalities of it, but... Hard details... Not as much. It's really fascinating and weird to see, like, properly proportioned non-spirit characters from that game company. Like, that's the thing, is, like, these are real people. That's the weirdest... This is why I thought it was so weird when they announced that, is that this is real... These were real people, like Van Gogh, his brother, his sister, and the events around him are real. So just, like... Oh, now we're in the like this. It's like we're in the Netherlands for some reason in Sky. It looks really beautiful, but this is just so weird to me. Dear Theo, words cannot express how happy I feel to have taken up drawing again. It had long been on my mind, but I always considered it impossible and beyond my reach. Oh, stylistically, this looks really cool. It's like the weird wireframe stuff they were doing before with the 7th anniversary stuff, but entirely sepia tone. Oh, this looks beautiful. I also love the music here. Yeah, I think this actually works well with my character's actual outfit, like with the boots and the cloak with it, with the necklace and such, and the haircut. It doesn't look weirdly extravagant or fantasy-like. It looks more grounded like these other characters. Oh, I think I get it. We're in, like, his sketchbook or something. I was like, is this just like a memory? Is this trying to parody off of like old photographs, which photographs like this would have been daguerreotypes at his time of life. It would have been daguerreotypes, tintypes, a few different weird types that died after like 5 years of experimentation. There was a lot of that at this time. Dear Theo, diggers, sowers, plowmen, men and women, I must draw them all incessantly. Everything that belongs to country life, I must examine it and draw it. I no longer feel as hopeless, as helpless before nature as I once did. Yeah, so we're just like on his sketch pad. Painting comes more naturally to me than I thought it would. Maybe that's the best way forward, to pour all my effort into painting. Those are some very loaded and dangerous words, if you know about Van Gogh, in the sense that this guy, this is why he's very much an inspiration to me, in the sense that he let alone his creative, just, evolution, but just, the man literally committed himself, his entire person, to art once reality essentially failed him. He committed himself to it as reality, which is unfortunate and very, like, that's what I do with photography in my own way, but just like, it is a life commitment. And I don't think a lot of people have that discipline where they're just like, I'm gonna learn something and just do it for the rest of my life. I don't think a lot of people do that a whole lot anymore. For some reason, I think a lot of people just lack that discipline, but yeah, no. Very, very loaded words here. I must confess, I have no idea. Oh, that was it. I have no idea. Yeah, he doesn't know at this point when he's writing these letters to his brother, he doesn't know how far that's gonna go. And it goes, that's why I'm like, this is a very loaded part of his letters that he was giving writing to his brother. Because it goes, and it goes, and it goes until he dies. It's, very impressive, but very unfortunate. Bulb Fields, 1883 oil on canvas. I feel like the most disrespectful kind of thing you could do with your character here would be like the dancing or the goofing around stuff. Like this. Like, this is just highly disrespectful, but to me it's just like, yeah, that's... You can do it, and it's funny. You can also raise the... You can raise the roof in it. Oh, this person actually went ahead and bought some of the costume stuff for this. Oof. There we go. Oh, do you just get this for a period of time, then? That other person might have not bought it. Deliver Vincent's letter to Theo. Yeah, the score here is fantastic. I'm forgetting his name. Who's the guy who composed this game? I still haven't bought the soundtrack yet, so I'm not, like, super memorable of it. I'm looking that up real quick. That was actually more difficult than I expected. I was looking it up through iTunes just because I have it on my phone. I'm just like, you know, I could just look up through the store. Vincent Diamante. Yeah. I've talked at length about Vincent's stuff, like, back in the winter when I was playing this a lot. Really interesting composer who mostly has only worked on this... Like, the majority of his work is on this game, but he's worked on a bunch of other projects as well. If he composed this stuff as well, I assumed he did because he is the composer for Sky. Very, very good job, man. Very good job. Wait. Oh, I can't land. Okay. Yeah, it's not letting me land. I was like, I want to go buy those sunflowers. You know, it would be fun to get out of bounds here like we did with the Moomin area. That would be fun. The maps here seem a bit more surreal, with large kind of cloud seas and such, so I don't think it's really going to be possible to get out of bounds in any substantial manner. Unfortunately. Which I'm fine with that. Theo's Gallery. Like, if I remember right, Theo was an art dealer, and he absolutely was, like, the moneymaker of the family, and he supported Van Gogh because that's a part of Van Gogh's thing, is, like, nobody was buying his art, nobody was caring for him as a person, and that drove him further into his pursuit of mastering his art and creating weird stuff with it, from just inspiration and that social... rejection, just in general, just like that rejection of society and him as a person and his thoughts and all that kind of stuff. His brother supported him through that, but that also drove him further. It allowed him to drive himself further into making weird stuff until the end, unfortunately, which nothing really got better for the guy, which is the sad part in life for him. It wasn't until after he died and people saw his work and realized what had happened that people were like, oh, sorry, and recognized what he was doing. I cannot imagine how sad that must have been for Theo, to be honest. Like, as an artist and as a brother, I could not imagine how sad that must have been. Dear Theo, my money is not yet entirely gone. Okay? But I do not have much left. I have to spend a large sum on painting supplies. I hope you can send something soon. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's just like, he believed in his brother, he trusted him. Oh man, that is such a metaphorical visual choice to have sunflowers rising out of a money safe. That is certainly a choice, that game company. Oh, you guys had a blast designing this, which is really funny because you ruined Avery Village. I'm not going to talk about that, but I've already talked at length about that. This is very well done. Complete. Yeah, Van Gogh resonates not just with the beauty of his art, but his personal story as well. It really does just resonate with a lot of people, because a lot of people are can be or are in that situation as well, to varying degrees. Not exactly his situation from 150 years ago, but yeah, it's just that it is the artist who is not seen. And to be honest, as with my position with that kind of thing, are you willing to dedicate yourself, your entire person, to what you are doing? I feel like most people would say that they could, but they don't. Like, they do it, they might do it for a few years and then move on to other stuff because they get bored. That's kind of what most people would probably do. I don't know, man. Like, I've been doing what I do for half of my life at this point, and I don't see myself stopping. So, if anything, the only thing that kind of makes me, like, change a little bit about what I do is, like, if I get bored of a format, I need another equally weird format to just do new weird stuff in. Like, I started in stereoscopes and 3D imaging, which is a really, really weird spot to begin in photography in the first place. And then I moved into digital, and then I got really, really bored of digital pretty quick. And then I moved into film, and I have done the weird... Film has been great for me because it is so vast compared to digital of a format and a canvas specifically. Like, cameras are fine and all, but I care more about, like, the actual film and the medium itself that I'm painting on. I don't, like, cameras are tools. That's all they are. I know a lot of film photographers who just obsess over cameras and what has the best specs, what has weird specs. I enjoy cameras that have weird specs as well. I have plenty of those. But, like, if the camera isn't going to help me do what I need it to do in some sort of creative way, then I don't care about having it. But for me, it's about the film, the format, the chemicals, what type of film is this. Like, I've used stuff... the oldest film I've used is some really old Ansco black and white stuff from the early 40s. Prior to that, it was some old Kodak, like, Recordac film for, like, micro recording from, like, the early 50s or something. But this year I've used some Ansco stuff. I also have some, like, Koda... What's the one I have? It's not a Kodachrome, it's a... let me look at my storage. Alright, I'm back. It's some Kodalith. I forgot exactly which. There's so many Kodas. There's Kodacolor, there's Koda everything. It's some Kodalith black and white stuff from the mid-40s. I've used one roll of it so far, and it turned out great, but I have, like, another 6 or 7. Really, really old, archaic stuff that if you ask, like, a regular photographer off the street, they wouldn't believe you that that stuff is still usable. Fundamentally, it shouldn't be usable, but I'm a weirdo who can revive stuff like that and use it using my own maths. It's kind of what I'm known for, aside from just, like, chemically modifying color films and such for my art to make it look kind of like Van Gogh and Monet. And I'm recently, the past 2 years, I've been moving into, like, paper films, quote unquote. They're not really films, but just, like, color negative papers. So it's just, like, it's regular, like, fiber papers and washi papers and such, and they're coated with different chemicals. Some of them are black and white, some of them are color, and you can get, like, a color negative off of paper if you shoot it correctly. Really weird stuff that most people would not believe you could do with photography, really, on the day-to-day. Like, oh, you took a photograph on paper? That's really weird. But then you explain to them how it's done, and it's even weirder. So it's really difficult to explain stuff like that to people. Especially in this day and age where most people just assume photography is digital. It's like, no, that's like saying everybody who does painting only paints digitally instead of with an actual paintbrush and paint. That's kind of how misinformed that kind of perspective is. So okay, so this is the first layer. Oh, do we just get all of this stuff? Holy crap, we do. Oh, I need a heart for that. Okay, there is more story stuff to do. I was like, is that the only story piece we get today, or do we have to wait a week? I think I talked about this a little bit in, by the time this goes up, it will probably be a future Winds and Leaves videos. I'm not sure when that second Winds... In the second Winds and Leaves video, I talk a bit about, like, my art and my thoughts on certain things. But, yeah, it's a little... Here's the thing I think a lot of artists can really get behind as a concept, because I've heard other ones talk about this as well. It's really difficult to just talk about what you're doing with your art because it all makes sense in your head while you're doing it. And if you try to explain it, you're going to have a bit of a difficult time doing that. It's just like a weird... It's not... When you're making art, you're not thinking about, like, how to tell a group of people how to do stuff. You're not much of a teacher. You're just doing this. And it's best to leave that kind of, like, how somebody did stuff and how all that kind of stuff happened. It's better to leave that for people... like teachers and like, you know, people who don't it's better to leave that for people who don't actually make art but study art. It's better in that sense, so you don't have to think too hard about that. It gets in the way when you try to overthink, like, how is this comparing to other stuff, or is the methodology correct or anything. It's like, no, just make your stuff. Do a lot of research, find your inspirations, and just make your stuff. And then make your stuff for the rest of your life. That's the iron shackle. Just make it for the rest of your life. I have mailed you some drawings. Go ahead and tell me. Funny enough, the Art Institute actually had a very specific tour, curated tour of Van Gogh's artwork from other museums a few years ago. I saw it, and I thought it was fantastic. They had a giant convention-sized gallery wall that only had his famous portrait on it, with some text around it. That was just... That's like the first thing you saw when you walked into that gallery, and it was such a pedestal that it was crazy. And how might I draw that one's well? If I missed some text there, sorry, I was like off talking. I'm also a big fan of the movie Dreams from Kurosawa. I know it's not everybody's... people who know Kurosawa's work, I know it's not everybody's favorite movie. I really, really, really love it. It's my favorite Kurosawa movie. And there is a section in there with Van Gogh. I forget... Is it Mel... It's not Mel Brooks. Is it? Anyway, there's a Van Gogh section in there that I think is done very tastefully. I recommend Dreams. It's a very good movie that a lot of people skip over. And so far, speaking of taste, I think this has been done very tastefully. Choose a color and paint the wall. Because that's the thing, there was that warning... Oh, we're some very interesting colors right now as well. That's the thing, they put that warning at the beginning of this season pass event story, because the story of Van Gogh is very I don't want to full on just say dark, but it is harsh. It is a very unfortunate story. Unfortunate is probably the best word I could use for it. So that's the thing. This game is played by kids as well, so you don't want to flat out say Van Gogh cut off his ear out of rejection. Well, out of a crazed love, desire, rejection kind of thing. And it's just like, yeah, there's a lot of harsh, unfortunate stuff in this man's life. So you kind of have to figure out how to do all of this tastefully. So far, I think this is being done very tastefully, because it's also not really backing away from the realities of some of this. But it, like with the safe thing and his brother's money and such, it's stating it flat out, but if you don't actually really know that, it could fly over your head. Okay, it just did it itself. Why is it in... Oh, it might be because of the presentation. It might be a portrait image. I was going to say, why does it look like a cell phone now? Okay, it is a portrait. Yeah, this score, Vincent, I'm assuming Vincent made this score, but this is such good piano work. It works so well with the lighting and the colors. It's like, Also, it's just kind of neat to be in new environments in this game as well, as someone who has played a lot of Sky. Can we fly out here? Or is it gonna push us back? I mean, we can. I'm actually curious now. Can we fly up? Because they gave us our wings for this. I see a tunnel. There might be nothing out here. This might be a big waste of time, but... Whoa! Guess where we're going. Oh, there's somebody else already down here. Given that they're flying up here, I have a feeling that there's going to be nothing down here, so I'm much more interested in going up first, at least. We're going to see what's up here if we can. It's nice to see someone who is thinking outside of the box like me, though, as well. To go all, like, there has to be stuff if we can go out here into the Cloud Sea. So where is the best... Over here kind of looks like the best spot for that. I think that's the moon over there. I feel like I see something else in the distance, too. We're gonna go this way. Yeah, this music, this is stuff I would perfectly enjoy while, like, dealing with my own art. Like managing files or scanning stuff. Just very nice background. There's something else out here. What is that? Huh. That's another windmill. Is that what was used for the cutscene? Like the live... Not the live cutscene, but, you know, just like the actual cutscene for, like, him and his brother. I think that might be. I think that might be because, yeah, you can see, like, that what looks like a giant wall is a giant backdrop wall. So I think this over here with the giant light behind it to illuminate it, I think that is for the cutscene. I don't think we were supposed to find that. There's an invisible wall stopping us from going out there, though. But we seem to have infinite flight here for some reason. So we can get a better view, I guess, of it. That is the nice, fun thing about that game company, is apparently they don't care too much about people going out of bounds as long as it doesn't fundamentally, like, break their servers or game. If you want to see how the cookie is made, you kinda can a lot of the time. Because that's the thing, to transition between the cutscene and this as fast as it does, it would have to still be in the same overworld map. If you don't want to load in a new map to do it. I've learned that very well from The Witcher 3 and going out of bounds with it. Oh, we got the right skybox here, too. Yeah. That looks like the map for the cutscene with the brother. What's funny is that is actually in its own sky dome. I thought that was a light that was just behind it to illuminate it. That's its own entire sky dome. And it has a flat plane, too. That's what the square there is. So that is a giant orb with its own skybox that is housing that. That reminds me of some out-of-bounds stuff when I look at Super Smash Brothers. Like when you see some of the maps have like their own transitions, or Mario Galaxy, when you go from like one planetoid that has like a different sky to a different planetoid that has a different sky, they're in orbs like that. Their own little small skyboxes while we're still in like the large skybox, which this one is more like a void, it seems. Is this gonna let us go over here? It is. I don't think we're supposed to be getting over here, but the invisible wall is gone. There was an invisible wall there. Alright, let's go in. Let's go in. I think there's someone else in here, too. Whoa, we entered, had some weird sound effect. Yeah, this is the painting version. Yeah, so this is when you're supposed to be, like, on his canvas. That's what this is. This isn't specifically the cutscene version, but this is the event version. This is just so cool, man. So, can we leave this now, since we weren't supposed to be in here in the first place? I'm gonna guess that that Sky Dome has a interior barrier, but not an exterior barrier. So, we will probably... That square is gonna be the floor we touch here. This. But we probably will be stuck I can actually see the hue difference. Wow. It is so faint, but I can see the wall right there. Yeah. I can see the hue difference between the sky dome and the floor. That's funny. So yeah, we're kind of stuck in a giant sphere now. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to leave like this because it's not intending us to be back in here, and the way to get out would have been through the story. So doing that does kind of trap you and break things a little bit. Is it going to make us redo that stuff again? If so, I think it would be worth it, but I just wanted to see what all that was about. It's going to make us redo it again, I think, yeah. That's fine. That's fine. If anything, that actually does tell me just how almost all of those kind of sequences are, like, made, probably, for most of this season pass. So anytime we're, like, in his canvas or in his sketchbook or anything, we're probably just in a sphere outside the boundaries of, like, the regular map. Why they won't sell. It's because you were making weird, cool art in a time of romanticism, dude. They wanted stuff to look biblical and realistic. Yeah, so if I'm able to, I'm going to be skipping through what I can, probably the dialogue. It looks like the cutscenes we can't really skip. Okay, this time we're actually going to choose a color and paint the wall. Paint the wall with a cool tone paint. R1 to toggle flight mode. Oh, we just have to move along it. I mean, that time we at least got to paint the wall. We didn't even get to do that last time. Paint the windmill. That's the thing, we didn't really get to do any painting last time, so this is nice. We actually get to be a part of the event. Okay, the back side of the windmill doesn't seem to really count. What about the flag? No? I don't know if this is a server issue or what, because nothing we're doing seems to really be working. Okay, it's kind of working again. Right. So this story beat is done again. We really had to redo all of it, huh? That audio glitch is still here, even in this season pass. I'll never get tired of it, and I will always point it out. Alright, this time let's not go out of bounds. I think we had enough fun with that. Deliver Vincent's letter to Theo. I know this is just me thinking because I've been playing Winds and Leaves lately, but I was raised briefly as Christian in my childhood, and I'm just envisioning, like, being in this space, like this, when I was really little, and this is something that I hold because I work in very large-scale spaces, like theaters and amphitheaters and venues and stuff like that. When you're like a little kid, say like 4 to 7, when you enter a space like that, like a theater or a church, when I'm getting back to the religion part, just like church, and you enter a space like that and you look up at the ceiling and like how large a lot of these spaces can be. Like the church that I went to was freaking massive, and it had these amazingly detailed frescoes of like religious visual iconography and stuff like that, and imagery and stuff like that all over the ceiling. I don't know how old this stuff is, but you look up at something like that and it is insane. It has that kind of VR feeling of like, wow, everything is so massive and like space, because you're also still young and new to reality, so like spatially things are just like way more intense to you and interesting, and you take a lot more of that information in immediately in a perceptual kind of way. I'm thinking about that looking in this space like now, flying across this giant cloud sea, and I know that this is encased in a giant sky dome and such, but I'm like, that's a beautiful hue gradation right there. But I'm just like, when I'm looking at this, I'm like, how would all of this, like, in that... I'm thinking about this like as if I was a little kid in that kind of mindscape and perceptual sense, because I try to do that when I'm in VR as well. Just, like, the grandiosity, the scale of size, how small you are to everything else in this sphere that you're in presently in this room. Like, this is impressive scale-wise. This is really... I really appreciate, like, the vastness that they have given Theo here on his tiny little island here. It's so small. And in this space, I'm waving my arms around, but this space is so huge. And I'm just thinking, like, in VR, where you could see it in 3D, like you would see and perceive it as, like, a small kid, that would be so impressive. It would leave such an impression. Because this is so massive, and it's beautiful, and it's just a giant empty space, but that scale leaves an impression, man. It's wonderful. Chef's kiss. Dear Theo, it also adds to the surrealism, because to a kid that is surreal, but it's reality. So it's just like you're new to... I've already said all this stuff. It's like you're new to all this kind of perceptual stuff. It just leaves a mark. I hope to improve in such a way that you may confidently show my work without embarrassing yourself. Yeah. That's the thing is, I think a lot of people because to either just naturally forget what it's like to be a kid, like how do you remember how, and this is getting just like deep, but just like, do you remember the first time you read a type of book when you were like 6? Do you remember the first time you saw a color? Do you remember learning about shapes? Do you remember the first time you heard a weird noise from an animal or something like that? Do you remember looking at something for the first time and thinking about, and like not knowing what it was before you were told what it was supposed to be? Do you remember how to perceive things in a natural, raw sense like that? I think a lot of people just kind of tone that out of themselves over time, unfortunately. And that is something that is, in my opinion, so incredibly important to hold on to. And most artists like Tom York or Yosuke Kawai, or just so many different artists that I can think of that I'm influenced by, it's just like, they very openly talk about how, no, you need to hold on to that kind of memory retention of, you need to remember what it was like before knowing how to be told how things are. You need to remember that raw, I don't want to say animal, but just like unculturally learned part of how to perceive the world. Because if you lose that, then you are just going to kind of take everything at what it is told as. This is weird stuff to talk about, but that is something that is very important to me. It's just like, do you remember the first time you tasted something? Do you remember the first time you touched something and you felt how it was? Do you remember how to think about that before you're told how to think about that? Stuff like that. That's very important in my opinion. And it's like, you still have to know how to respond to that normally in everyday, like, you know, situations, and be personable and like get a job and, you know, like be a normal functional person in society, but you still need to know that you can recall that at will. If you don't know how to recall that at will, I think that's rather unfortunate. Maybe that's just a me thing. Well, I know it's not a me thing because I know plenty of people who talk about that. But that's the other thing, is I'm also synesthetic, so it's just like, I'm well aware that when, like, someone tells me a number, I think of it in, like, a color, or I see it in my brain, like, literally, visually in my brain, I can see the number 5, and taste that it tastes like grapes, or the color of it is, like, red, and things like that, just, like, depending on what it is. But, like, it weirds me out that there are people who don't think like that, but everybody is different, so it works out in the end. So what is the next story beat? That's enough of me rambling about just like sensory perception on stuff and how people see reality and things. That's a whole different conversation. Alright, so what's the next one? Okay, so next is the bedroom. Dear Theo, I want to make real progress this year. Progress. To be honest, that I sorely need. Alright, the bedroom. I have seen this in person multiple times. It is in... Which part of the Art Institute is it in? It's like in the East Wing? It's like on the East Wing on the upper floor or something? It's nowhere near, like, the Monets and such. The Monets have, like, their own entire section of the museum. They're on, like, the center and north side, I think. That's actually a funny thing. If I walk into the institute, I can know immediately where everything is, but like if I'm trying to think abstractly like north, south, east and west where things are, I kind of can't. I know where things are relative to the building, but I don't relative to the city. That actually makes me wonder. I wonder what their photography section's like right now. I'll get to see it in a few weeks, but normally they have like one or two interesting artists and then the rest of them are really generic or boring. I talked before a few years ago, I think, about this one, but they had someone who had burned a image from a... They took a photo on a leaf, quote unquote. That's what they like to simplify it as. It's when you put chemically reactive, well, like photoreactive chemicals on a leaf or plant life, and then you take a photograph, put it onto a clear scan a black and white or grayscale photograph and print it onto a clear slide, like a transparent slide. Then you put it above that leaf or plant and let the sun burn it into the plant, and then they like to call that like, they like to say like, oh, you took a photo on a plant, but it's really kind of a type of transferring process. You see those occasionally at the Institute, and I'm like, that's really neat, but it's also kind of just a gimmick. It's not like you put an actual leaf in a camera and took a photo on it. That's kind of what I do with my like fiber paper and washi paper stuff, where I take it actually on the paper. Trying to think, was there anything super interesting last time I went? I mean, they have some like historical photos sometimes of things taken on like weird materials with like weird wet type photography methods that were used for maybe like 3 or 4 years and then abandoned because they weren't really like reliable. Those are always kind of interesting. Oh, they actually made a whole big area for this, yeah. Although it seems like they mostly just want you around here. There is a tunnel down there at the river mouth. Just trying to see if there's anything weird out of bounds again. Not really that I can see. It might be under the map. Oh, we're actually under the map now. Okay. I don't know what just happened. What happened? How did we get under the map? Did we accidentally, like, fall through a part of it that didn't have any ground layering to it? That was entirely unintentional. Yeah, we were over here by the bridge. Yeah, I think we clipped through like a little piece of land that it wasn't intentionally wanting us to. And it's also pushing us back. You can see, though, that, like, a lot of this is very rough, like, in how it is. Like, it's just a square over here. You can see where it kind of falls out of line with the buildings. They could have made that a little cleaner. Oh, did we find a way out? We're still falling. Oh, yeah, we're underneath the map. We're underneath the map. There is some stuff underneath the water, it looks like. Ooh, and there's a gap here. So this is interesting. Man, you throw me into one of these maps and I'm just gonna find a way to break it. Oh, the water scared me. It made a splash sound effect that sounded like crashing glass, and I was like, "Oh, what happened? Are they going to kill me for going out of bounds in their game now? Have they finally decided that?" All right, so the fun thing once again is that we have clouds here to recharge. So ooh, we still have a wall of wind here. And it looks like we can't really... Can we go any further down? It doesn't seem to let us go any further down, actually. Which is kind of a weird rarity for a sky map. Yeah, this is kind of it. I'm not sure if that's just the camera moving slow. Okay, yeah, no, we're stationary. Okay. Yeah, there's actually like a proper kind of floor here. Normally it lets us go down to like some sort of weird kind of glitchy floor layer that's way below the map. Yeah, so this is this area from underneath. I like how we can still hear the birds. That's nice. And it is also interesting how they have extended the wind wall down to this layer. We are up against another wind wall. Yeah. So I'm going to try for this over here because it looks a bit more inviting. No? Ooh, we're falling further now. Yeah, we're falling further now. We're like in a weird kind of rut. A weird kind of like invisible wall rut. Come on, just let me have a peek. Let me see behind some of these walls. Yeah, I'm tempted to just kind of go back up. I think I see the water layer here. You see this kind of visual... No, that's just the clouds. Okay, I'm just like, it looks a little different. It is interesting to note how the water layer doesn't seem to go this far down. But it does go below the map. I do just find it kind of unfortunate how the wind wall seems to go this far down. I'm gonna give it like another minute. Yeah, that's another wind wall. Okay, it kind of traps us down here. So we're gonna go back up. What's interesting is it's making water noises, even though we're not specifically in the water layer yet. There's the water layer. Oh, don't tell me that we're gonna have to reload the whole thing again. First things first, I think the water layer is a mistake right now, because we're gonna drown. Okay, okay, I was getting scared there for a second. I was like, I don't want to lose wings or something in the Van Gogh story, please. I would just like to go back up to the surface, if I can now. I've had my fun. Where are we? Where are we? We're like just stuck. Come on, let me out, let me out! Let me out of here, I've done my time. I've done my time, let me out. Let me out. We have to find a little bit of a way out of here. Where are we now? That's the thing, it's like we're stuck underneath some of the buildings. Just let me out. Please. I've been a good boy, let me out. I can see, the annoying part is I can see the edge. No, don't push me back into the water, please. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I saw those. Come on. I can find one of those. I can fit through it. Just let me out. Yeah! Woo! We're free! You see, with a little perseverance, you can get out of the shenanigans you get yourself into. Okay. We don't have to restart this. That was my big fear. I was like, are we going to have to restart all this? I've never been so fortunate, for here nature is exceptionally beautiful. Hey Van Gogh, do you want to see below the map? Everything and everywhere. The vault of the sky is a magnificent blue, and the sun has a radiance of pale sulfur. Just as soft and charming as the celestial blues and yellows in Vermeer of Delft. I cannot paint anything as beautifully as that. But it captivates me so much that I must let myself go. Paint the cafe terrace at night. So we just gotta walk around. Just have our character here, sure. Paint the yellow house. Okay, does it want me to go inside and paint too, or...? I don't think that is supposed to be up there. Oh, it's the bedroom. The bedroom. Hey, it's the guy. Oh, I haven't been doing the sidewalk. That's what it wants. I'm like, what else is there? Yeah, it was the sidewalk. The Yellow House. 1888. Arles, France. I wanted to furnish the house, not just for myself, but in such a way as to be able to accommodate someone else. Naturally, this has eaten up most of my money. With what remains, I have purchased 12 chairs, a mirror, and a few small, indispensable things. Which means by next week, I will be able to move in. Paint the bedroom. The bedroom. quite honestly, if you like the visual style of this game, just in general, let alone the Van Gogh aspect of this, but seeing this just brings me back to The Last Day of June. I really recommend that game. Came out some years ago, but it's on, I think, most platforms. It's really good. I am so happy with the house and with the work that I dare to believe that this joy will not be mine alone, but that you will share it with on your end. But that you will share it on your end by having good fortune as well. Deliver Vincent's letter to Theo. Quite literally yellow paint. That goes back to the yellow paint joke that was very... It's still around, but... Yeah, the yellow directional paint for telling you where to go in video games. Quite literally here. Bro, why do you buy 12 chair? Too much. He thought he would have friends and people over. You don't understand. He wanted to buy them because it was telling himself that people would be over and enjoy his works. I want to take a picture here. No, not like that. Like this. Get the f-stop rather high. I think that's fine on the brightness. I think that's fine there. Now just to have a good emote. No, that's a terrible emote for that. That's actually not too bad. I think that's fine enough. I thought they fell through the map for a second there. They're just swimming. I was like, oh, you little rebel. You did the same thing I did. Good. Break the rules. What do you mean? Man, does it want us to take that boat? I saw that there was a boat that it was kind of like lit up for us to use. I'm like, I don't want to use... screw the boat. We're going to go there ourselves. Is there someone up here? There's just some people sleeping up there. It's best to leave them alone. Alright, I'm gonna guess some sort of cutscene's gonna play if we use the boat then. Alright, boys! Now come all you sailors and listen to me. I'll sing you a song of the fish in the sea, and it's windy weather or stormy weather, or when the wind blows, we're all together, and we're back to playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag again. I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow you will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Dear Theo, I planned so carefully. But even today I found that for the 10 meters of canvas I had perfectly budgeted, all the colors with one exception, the fundamental yellow, oh, he's saying he didn't plan for the yellow. Or ran out of it or something. Yeah, what I assume to be Theo's theme, I think is very, very good as a song. It might be my favorite so far. Oh. The crows. Are they gonna make it so the crow stole his ear? Is that how they're gonna phrase it for this? We won't know until next week, I don't think so, because I think this was the last one for this week. If they phrase it as one of the crows from his paintings taking his ear, that is gonna be... Honestly, that's gonna be kind of funny. Can we just do the whole thing? Are we able to do that? Because they're not limiting us. Yeah, it's still going. I thought they would have limited us, like, per week or something on this. Unless, like, if you complete his sister's side of it, if they introduce, like, another person in his life, and they have, like, their own story beats to this, I don't know how long this is. Man, I gotta see if they have the crow steal his ear or not. That'll be hilarious. That would be such a weird way to phrase him cutting off his own ear. Dear Theo, now this horror of living is already less pronounced. The melancholy less acute. But of motivation I have none at all, few if any desires. And almost none of what belongs to an ordinary life. I am curious if they're going to cover anything involving Van Gogh's obsession with woodblock prints or anything. I brought up woodblock prints in the second part for Wind and Leaves as well because they are a very big influence in my art and like what I am very attuned with the process of woodblock prints, the making of washi paper. I have washi paper that like I use for printing prints, and I have some that I use for making photos. Like I have them emulsified and such for use as paper photos. But yeah, Van Gogh, Monet, a lot of these guys at this time were utterly fascinated and geeking about woodblock prints from Japan because they were exotic. They found them very fascinating in just how they were made. The actual art quality of them was really high, even though in Japan they were not really viewed as art too much. Woodblock prints are a very fascinating section of art history. And yeah, Van Gogh and Monet and such, the Toulouse-Lautrec, I think was... I actually don't know to what extent Toulouse-Lautrec was influenced by woodblock prints, but like a lot of these guys were essentially weebs for them. They were very like, they need to import this stuff, they need to look at it, they need to mimic it or copy it. Like Van Gogh copied a lot of woodblock prints in his style, and it's just really fascinating. Just like they were geeking out over this foreign art form from Japan. Like, it's just fascinating to me that they saw the value in that. It's more interesting how they had access to that stuff because, like, they had to import that stuff over ships. It's not like there was the internet for them to even find out about this stuff. Okay, so they had the crow steal his ear. I guess. If in the crow wasn't just like a metaphor for his depression, I guess. Which it is, but... There's a lot of people just sleeping in here, which... Granted, it is a bedroom. This is his bedroom. It looks like it from the... I think this is from the psychiatry ward he ended up in. Dear Vincent, I would be so happy if you could come visit and see Joe and our little baby. As we mentioned before, we have named him after you. Oh, we are very small. I don't remember what kind of trees were growing outside of his psychiatric ward, but he painted them quite a lot. I don't remember if they were plum trees or... exactly what they were. Yeah, they're using crows, which is appropriate to depict his depression and negative aspects of what's going on right now. Just overall, I guess. That's an appropriate way to do that. Once again, it's just like, I'm just really curious how do they approach some of these things about Van Gogh, and once again, I think it's a smidgen funny just because crows are used in his art itself to kind of depict darkness, so I just find it like, oh, wink wink, nudge nudge kind of stuff, but I think it's tasteful. I think it's tasteful. I was going to say, where does it want us to go? Up here? And that's the thing, this story is very, very on rails in its linear narrative that it's going for, compared to the seasonal light mending, which is fine. But it is noticeably different. I'm pretty sure the previous season probably was similar to light mending in that it just had a bunch of side activities, you had multiple characters to interact with, and you could kind of do with it as you will as it progressed. This is very linear. But that's also the other thing, is I missed the Little Prince one and the Moomin one. I think the Moomin one was the last, like, licensed property one. I can't think of... because there was also the Cherry Blossoms... Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I'm enjoying this a ton. This is fantastic. Oh, we're flying now. And T-posing now. Almond trees, yeah, that. I was like, is it plum trees? Was it almonds? Was it pear trees? I forgot which one it was. Almonds, okay. Yeah, he loved the almond trees outside of his psych ward. I don't know why, and this is just because I like to turn like dark themes kind of funny in some moments when the imagery works for it. I saw that and I'm just like, when you walk away, just like Kingdom Hearts slipped into my face, my head, just like it just reminded me that flat plane with like these dark characters around them, not knowing where you are and stuff. My brain just immediately went to Kingdom Hearts, just in general. Just like, oh, it's like Sora in a dark room surrounded by Organization 13 or something. Deliver the next letter. Okay, so it doesn't really want us to fly. Okay, now we fly. There we go. And we T-pose. Nice. I just want to hear this music. Yeah, they really, Vincent, or I'm still going to assume Vincent made the score, but the use of cello, like the light flute noise is kind of the hope. The cellos were such a good choice here for the strings because, oh man, does it, in relation to Van Gogh and sonically, it just creates such a nice warmth that makes you, it really does kind of paint Theo as like Van Gogh's safety blanket, which in reality he was, which is the sad part because it's just, you know, Van Gogh's story by now. It's just like it doesn't end well. But it just, with it being more down tempo and kind of ruminating in this composition compared to the previous one we heard, it does set the scene very well of just things being not as happy in a way, but still comforting and homeful. Well, do you know what I hope for when I allow myself to hope? That the family will be for you what nature is for me. The clods of earth, the grass, the yellow wheat, the peasant. Every time I see that, I just think of Smash Brothers complete! That would be so funny to edit in, but I'm not going to. How many more are there? 2? Yeah, there's 2 more. What time is it? Yeah, I can do them. We're a little over the 2-hour mark, but I could probably do these. And that's the thing, is like, I don't know if like this is it for the whole thing, or if there's more, or not. I see the map stone right over there. We haven't even touched that yet. And then there's also these characters over here that we haven't really done anything with. Yeah, this is very clearly just all for the candles. So, at present, I'm gonna assume that it's just this one story that we're doing the whole thing through right now. And then for the next 2.5 months, it's just gonna be get the candles so you can unlock stuff over here. I'm gonna assume that's how this is, because if I'm thinking back to, like, the Moomin one, I haven't done the Little Prince one yet, but if I'm thinking back to the Moomin one, it was just a very brief linear story. So I think that is what's going on here. So, looks like we're doing this all in one go, I guess. The Crows and the Wheat Fields. July 27th, 1890. Auvers-sur-Oise, France. If I butchered that word, I am sorry, I am not French. Find Vincent. Oh no, he's lost in the supermarket. Or in this case, in the wheat fields. So, this is a scene that is explicitly used in Dreams, the movie I talked about earlier. I really do recommend the movie. It's a great anthology film. It works a lot better, and you'd probably get more out of it if you're familiar with Japanese culture and history and, like, sensibilities. Because it has a lot of anti-World War II sentiment in it. And, like, the movie was made in, like, 1990, 1991 or something. But Kurosawa poured a lot of growing up in post-World War II sentiment is in that movie. Through a lot of just... The movie's based off of dreams he's had throughout his life. And a lot of them are very much filled with that kind of thinking and just imagery. And core fundamentals. Just, it's a really, really solid, good movie. But it's definitely not for everybody. Can I use my camera here? I can. I mean, he's probably over there by the crows. I'm just saying. Can't really see anything, to be honest, here with the camera, so I think I'm good on that. Once again, just the score. The imagery is really, really good, but honestly, the score is what's really doing it for me. Can I whip out my camera and take a photo of him real quick? Mr. Van Gogh? I like your work, sir. You should water those. 2 days later. Oh, has he already died? Are they not going to save that for the last painting? Huh. Okay. Like, it's sad. That's how the story ends. That's how that he actually died like that, so... 6... I'm just surprised that they threw it so fast at us. Okay. 6 months later. Theo's Gallery. I was gonna say, doesn't his brother die soon after as well? Yeah, he does. Yeah, Theo dies really soon after, too. I'm kind of... I know Theo's it's half and half. It's about Van Gogh and it's about Theo and his experience as well here, which is... I'm so glad that they leaned in on that specifically and not just, like, gave some sort of, like, idolization kind of account of Van Gogh. I hate that stuff. They gave the reality of it here, which is very, very good. But I'm also kind of surprised that they showed Theo's death as well. It makes sense. It's not the complete story, but, you know, it's... This stuff happened. I think this has been a very tasteful, abridged, rough telling. It's a good summary. This is a good summary of some of the course of events of what happened with Van Gogh. This is extremely brief, because this is a real man who lived and died. He had an entire life. But I think this is a fine summary. Besides the child, I have been left with another task. Vincent's paintings. I must show them. I must sure they are appreciated. I must make sure they are appreciated. I can speak. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. These paintings are treasures. They cannot be forgotten. The world must remember who he was. That is a fantastic transition. That was a fantastic transition. That actually surprised me. High glider? I don't know what that trophy is, but okay. You must not believe that your work is without value. Do not lose courage. Better days are ahead. You are not alone. I am always thinking of you. One day, people will understand what you are really trying to do. I think that sentence is the important one very much here because that just is it. That is it. That's such a hard thing to put into words for artists, is like, you just hope people see what you are trying to do. Oh man, it's the actual art. I think this was wonderful. I think that this was very tastefully done, and I think it's very nice. I do have a little bit of a dumb smile on my face. I think this was very well done. Joanna devoted her life to bringing the hundreds of Van Gogh's artworks and letters she inherited to public attention. Yes, she did. She spent a lot of the early 20th century doing that. After 15 years of persistence, a Van Gogh exhibition was held at Amsterdam's Stedelijk Museum. It cemented Vincent's reputation as an artist. To date, it remains the largest Van Gogh exhibition with over 200 paintings. Thank you for playing. Alright, so it was one linear narrative thing. Dear Van Gogh. And now we have 2.5 months of getting candles to unlock stuff. Oh, they even put her actual photo. Yeah, that's a photo of Theo, but it looks like it's been upscaled with some sort of software. It looks weird. And that's, once again, that is Vincent, but that looks like it's been upscaled or something with like AI or some weird kind of software. I've seen their actual photos and they don't look, there's some weird kind of artifacting stuff going on there that doesn't look right. Okay. You don't have to like upscale daguerreotypes and other weird like old phototypes to look crisp and clean. They grain and little particles in the images are fine. You don't need to do that. It makes them look really weird. What's weird to me is that then, like, all these other photos look like low-resolution digicam photos from, like, 2008 or 10. Like, these don't look like high-res photos. These look like ones from maybe 15 years ago for, like, the set location. They might even be, like, Google Earth images. I don't know. That's funny. I just don't get why they had to, like, do some weird upscaling on the actual photos of the people. That just doesn't look right. As a photographer, I look at that and I'm like, why? Vincent's ward and the asylum. The almond trees. Yep, that's their graves. Once again, this is just so weird to me to see this Sky Kid interacting with Van Gogh. It's just so weird. And then they were raptured. Okay, so I guess this is just what this area looks like now. Oh, it's just Starry Night. It looks very nice. It looks very nice. Oh. Everybody just vanished for a second there. Yeah, this looks great. Let's get the map stone. It's been a long time since I've gotten a map stone for anything. Starry Gallery. Okay, so we got the hat. And okay, so we can unlock this costume from this character, this stuff from this character. Yeah, okay, so I see. So these are the costumes we're going to unlock from these characters. The only ones that you have to buy, if you want them, are these ones that are a bit more extravagant in ways, I guess. Like, one is a Crow Wheatfield cape, and the other one's like a Starry Night cape with some Starry Night accessories and a mask. I think the Starry Night mask is really cool, but, like, Nah, I'm good. If any of these, I really like this one. Oh, and you also get this haircut. Okay. 22 candle. I forgot how expensive some of this stuff can get. So the cape is after this, but yeah, that is quite expensive there. I'm gonna wait on that. Get level 2 on the sketch. And that's actually all I can really do right now before we try to go after some of the extra candles. So let me take a look at these. So level 2 of the pacing. It's like a line of sight with a giant, very bright halo effect around you. Like, what is this? Okay, sure. And the other one is drawing level 2, which adds a glow effect. Okay. I kind of expected that. Right. Yeah, this was fine. I will be playing this again pretty much daily to get the candles so I can unlock some more of this stuff. That's what I paid for the season pass for, but yeah. Oh, I forgot there's also like new hair and stuff. We got the new hat. Oh, look at that. I actually really like the hat. Yeah, we don't have hair yet, but we have the hat. I kind of want to wear the hat right now. Yeah, I really like that. It's funny, my grandpa used to actually wear a hat kind of similar to this. Even with like the little gem in the middle there. It's pretty nice. Alright, so we're going to get the extra candles. And I think we are going to do the book as well. God, I haven't done a candle run in months. Since like probably since March, really, since I've like really cared about doing any. Yeah, because the last time I did this, I did a few parts in like early April, and at that point, I wasn't really doing any candle runs. What's funny as well is that like time is a flat circle because like the last previous 2 parts I've done of like playing Sky consistently, like back in March and back in April. Back in March and January, not April. I missed in May because I was busy doing real life stuff, but right now there's another sumo tournament going on, and I'm watching that again. And during the March and the January sessions, I was talking about like what was going on in sumo. So I'm just like, right now I'm just like, oh, time is a flat circle. Let's start talking about sumo while we're doing our candle run in like good old times. So I'm not really big into sports, but I do really enjoy sumo, just as a sport. I am a fan of the top division wrestlers. Wakataka Kage, I believe, is out currently for this tournament, for this Basho, because of he has like compression syndrome, which is really bad, and I hope he gets better because that is not something he should have to deal with. Right now, as of today, Shishi is currently in the lead, which is crazy. I like Shishi as a wrestler. He is very good, but he has been kind of just doing all right over this course of this year for the Bashos. If you don't know what any of what I'm talking about is, I'm sorry, this is just sumo stuff. I'm just trying to fill in some dead air while we're getting some candles. But I recommend watching some sumo. It's good stuff. Anyway, Shishi is currently in the lead. And he has not been doing so well for the entirety of this year. He's done all right, but he's always been kind of like in the middle of the rankings. And he's in the lead right now, and I'm really surprised at that. And if he wins this boss show, that's gonna be crazy. It's crazy because the other Ukrainian, because he's Ukrainian, the other Ukrainian, Onishki, won the January boss show, and then he kind of fell down in the ranks after the previous two. He's doing all right in this one, but it's just crazy to see Shishi like take the lead. Like, that's awesome. What are some of the other wrestlers doing so far? Hosh has been really good. He's been Hosh. He's been very good at the end of the matches facing off people. He lost in a crazy match the other night, and he gave a scowl afterwards. I'm just like, oh, he's pissed. It was a really crazy loss that happened a few nights ago. I forget against who. But Hosh has been doing very well as Yokozuna for this basho. And I don't think I've caught Daisho. I really like Daisho as a wrestler, and I don't think I've caught his matches yet. I've just been busy while I'm watching sumo and such. I'm doing other stuff. I'm working on art. I'm doing other things and stuff. It's just like I'm watching it on the side, and then like someone will get announced as like they're up next, and I'll watch. But I don't think I've seen Daisho. I think I've just been missing him. In any case, I think that's kind of it. That like the special candles are only in like the beginning area, aren't they? Things like I forget how this works exactly. It's been too long since I've done a candle run. I think that might be it. So, what time? Actually, yeah. What time is it? I actually do need to get going. I can't do the book right now. We'll do the book next time. We'll do some more candle run stuff. We'll probably just do a lot of extra side stuff. We might do a random side mission thing here or there. Not sure yet. I like how I got the hat, and I didn't get the camera from the game from the last time. Yeah. Oh, we got a ton of paintings, too. They all just show up as bags on your back, which is interesting. Okay. I thought maybe like, oh, can you run around with a painting on your back? Nope. So, in any case, thank you for watching. This has been fantastic to see the Van Gogh stuff. Nice to start a new season of Sky. And we will continue with more of this next time. We'll do some more of the book. We'll do some more exploring. We'll see what's out there. We might do some story beats for one of the random other NPCs in the game. Not sure. But yeah, and we'll do more Winds and Leaves, we'll do more Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, and other things. So, have a good day, have a good night, and I'll see you next time.